Swiss CFO Meeting. Why are you here? What motivates you to be part of this?
So I work for board. I want to hear what's going on with them and figure out how we can continue to help them more.
My company works on medical devices, so I'm the whole time in the hospital. So coming here, hearing a completely other world, another topic that is still interesting me a lot, this is a motivation, a big motivation.
I'm actually a customer of Board, and we implemented and getting the connection, getting the latest actuals information.
Getting out of my own bubble, I know my shop very well. It's good to get inspiration from others, what they do, how they see the roles, and then it's good to go back and reflect and see what can I learn from the event and what should I do next.
Well, basically two things. Listen to the presentations, and the second one, of course, is the networking.
Yeah, I guess it's really the topics that the speakers touched. So I work day to day with KPIs, with visualization, so that's kind of my daily bread. So I guess it was interesting to learn from those guys.
This topic, KPI selection, is on my head since long. The industry I'm working, in that industry, I find it really difficult to select the correct KPI and how to add value to the company I'm working, to that industry, right? It's a biotech industry, really difficult to select this. We don't have revenues, but we only have costs, right? So it's a bit different than a usual selling companies. So that was on my head. So when I was contacted on LinkedIn, I thought, wow, that's already on my head, so I need to go there. And the second, of course, is always the contact, so making new contacts and hearing the ideas of other people in the same industry, in the same branch, like finance. So that was my motivation, actually.
Well, actually, I find it quite interesting to see all those high-level speakers on those interesting topics. I'm working myself, Cyrille. So this is my day-to-day business, basically to work with those kind of questions, and so those guys really probably key the point.
My job is enterprise performance measurement, so it is in my blood to really do the best for the company in terms of identifying the standards and applying them. So in that regard, I was super motivated to meet these great experts on the topics.
Well, just to learn what's going on and see how I can improve the KPIs of my company.
And also, if you extend those, and let's say only one, but maybe 2 or 3 main topics every CFO, aspirant of the CFO, should be aware of or should really focusing on, what would these 3 topics be?
I think one I already said, right? Technology. The other is, as is the topic of today, the KPI selection. It's very important that it relates to the strategy of the company. I really was impressed with that you start with the strategy, then you go down to the different teams, and then at the end you really find a KPI that is measurable, so that actually that KPI you measure serves to your strategy, and that's, in the business, very important. That starts with the strategy, I think.
They're pretty easy to think about. So it's financial planning is a huge one. Consolidations is another theme that for to help with them their business. I mean, now in terms of financial planning, it's the idea of forecasting and having rolling forecasts, moving away from a static budgeting process to a more ongoing rolling forecast process.
They need to focus on, first, how do you use your resources efficiently? And that's really human capital, so the people, but also the technology. And then the second part is, how do you get the education about using all of these in an efficient way? Because I think everybody wants to do everything and they want to do it now, and there's no time to get people educated. And so finding a simplified way to get people educated on how to use the tool and not just what the benefits are. And then I think the differentiation of what the tools can do, because if you don't know much about the tools, you hear AI, you hear augmented AI, it all sounds the same, but understanding what you can actually do with which tool or what you cannot do with what tool, I think is where they need to sit the differentiation on.
The first thing is, yes, you need a standard. It's like music, it's like architecture, it's like anything you do. You need a standard, and we lack that. I think the number 2 is we need to educate our business that we need a standard. That's the job of most of us here as CFOs. But innovation does not mean that we cannot have a standard. I think that's number 2. I think the third thing is, I think Jürgen said very loud and clear, we need to educate our young generations of finance professionals in applying a standard. So these are our top 3.
Listen what's going on and bringing the company forward. and implementing the right structure.
Yeah, to take advantage, to learn, and to connect, right? These are the three major elements.
Basically, you have the more accounting and closing focused CFOs and the more strategic CFOs. If I look at myself, I would say you should have clarity on what your company strategy is, and then you should be quite aware of what economics are driving that.
What was the major takeaways from you out of these great talks already?
Well, you see how many professionals are interested into standardization and KPIs. It means that the issues are not yet well solved within many companies, and that is an interesting topic.
So my personal highlight is I think there's a lot of like-minded people that are realizing that there's huge opportunities in mixing finance with technology. And I think that's something I've been really keen on, but finding out there's a lot of other people that have that same idea it's kind of motivating to go out and start talking with more people about this.
Just the whole harmony of the event, with starting from KPIs, the strategy, then visualization, then bringing everything together with technology, and in the end, then also touching the people.
Yeah, everything is remains on the change, right? Now interesting approaches is there, even from a little bit more creative areas like musicians or architects, in the sense to compare to finance people, but how really interesting, and look forward where that leads to, right? Even if there is a change, you always are shocked in the first time.
It's not really takeaways, it's more like confirmations. I said, yes, I've come across a lot of charts where you say, the first question is, okay, which currency is it? What Bernie said at the very beginning, strategy is the key element to make it work. So get your strategy right, and the rest falls into its place.
I think it was the technology that is so important to finance professionals. I am since long in finance, since 20 years, and it has been always a challenge to find the correct technology, to work very good with IT people, so you don't spend a lot of time gathering the data together, crunching them, and at the end there's no time to get actually the information out of that data.
I mean, I fully agree with the openness of the systems. That is, of course, radically changing, and then also what Ben Neeson at the end pointed out, that the people are important. You have the technology, but for us it's key to have the right people who can collaborate, can communicate and work with the technology. So that's, of course, a big change.
So one highlight is definitely to meet a lot of interesting people today. So it was a big highlight. And what I like to see how it all connects, right? The technology, the people, the concepts.
And if you look forward to a potential future event, is there anything else you would recommend or wishes you'd like to address, or was it already perfect?
This was great. So I think they've set a really good foundation around what's out there, where are the trends, but then I think what would be interesting to see next is the tactical part of it. So, okay, we've got these tools, we've got these ideas. How do you put some of this stuff into place?
So today was different topics to really summarize short, right? Which I found really nice. Another idea could be select one of them and go to more detail.
Well, two things. So you're keeping me from the networking part.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
So more time for networking also in the breaks. It would definitely be nice. And other ideas. I'm actually a part of the Institute of Management Accountants. I'm in the global board there. We do a lot on finance development, the CMA. Well, I hope you see it. Certified Management Accountant is a global certification from IMA. So we do a lot on making finance better, bringing the profession further. So maybe we can work together on that.